What is your target audience? So you said struggling adults with mental struggles. So are you focusing on relationships then, or breakup, divorce, those kind of mental struggles, or is this career, life, every kind of mental, emotional struggle?
I would say life. I have been focusing on relationships, but when it comes down to my core work, I don't even focus on the relationship. I focus on their perception of things and the story that they're telling themselves. So really it could be any issue, but if they're like, I want to get my ex back, I don't even talk about their ex. I'd make them work on themselves.
Give me some example of a different kind of struggle that's not relationship, so I can break my mind from that.
So I would say like past trauma, dealing with depression, career issues, being burnt out, feeling like they have no purpose.
Midlife crisis.
Exactly.
All right.
It's like my company's name is Alpha Redefinition, so obviously I'm cool. It's totally masculine, going with only men. But I do want that like core thing to, kind of be like a community, but I don't want it to be like all dudes struggling through divorce. You know what I mean? I kind of want to like gear it towards like a purpose for them. You know what I mean? To pull them out of the rut.
I completely agree. We're obviously going to be focusing on the a common pain. That's really how we should be niching down, is by common pain. What about if we said paralyzing stress?
Yeah, I would definitely say. I mean, it's kind of be accountable and own your crap.
Okay, so do you feel that if you went back to all these guys and said your stress is paralyzing you, that they would all nod and say you're absolutely correct?
Yes, I like that because it's like general, but it's the underlying issue. So, yeah.
Great. So it's an audience with a problem. I think that's a great one to put down here. So this is where you pick the key focus for you, your key focused audience. This is how you're going to know right off the bat as to whether it's somebody that you want to work with or not. Do they fit this bill? Okay, when you join a group and you're looking for individuals, do they fit this bill? When you're reading through the emotions, do they fit this bill? When you're talking to them on the phone, going through all their questions and digging into their pain, would they agree with this statement? Okay, so what is the desires that you've come up with that these men are looking for? All right, you said that they just want to be happy. Give me some more desire.
Have purpose, be fulfilled, be a good dad, be a good husband.
What else? I don't feel like you've hit it on the head yet. Do they want to be in a relationship?
If they aren't already, I mean, probably.
Well, even if they are in a relationship, do they want to be in a relationship?
Yeah.
Do they want to be a dad and a husband always? Do they want to have a family?
Yeah. They want to be confident. They want a family, um, want to feel worthy and secure. They want to feel like a man.
I think that is the closest part to hitting it on the head that you've gotten to so far. So let's dig into want to be a man. What does that mean?
They want to feel, you know, like, well, obviously confident, supportive. Feel like it's at the tip of my brain.
Masculine?
Masculine. They want to feel like the shit. Like they want to feel like an alpha. Like they want to be the best selves. Like,
Okay, they want to be an alpha masculine male.
yeah, they want to exceed at everything. I mean,
So to be,
successful, an example.
so they want to be somebody that others look up to.
Correct. I mean, I almost like feel like, have purpose obviously sticks out, but I mean, when I read alpha masculine male, I think like discovering themselves and like just investing, you know what I mean? Like just trying to say.
I think a good word is sovereign. A sovereign essentially it means that you're the king of your kingdom and able to protect it. So if somebody else comes to siege your kingdom, you have the resources and military to defend your kingdom from attack. Powerful also comes into that. You can dig in and say you want to be healthy. So we can get more into the traits of this. You want to be healthy, strong,
Smart.
and successful. So really, it's like you want to have the hot wife on your arm, children that are well disciplined, and you want to be successful in business and in life.
So how would you narrow that down?
Well, I think warrior is a good statement along with sovereign because this world is really coming down on all of the guys, and it's really an attack on men that I feel in this world right now. And I think that's why that warrior thing that you had mentioned, it's probably a good reason why he named it that.
Yeah, the wake up warrior.
Yeah. That whole military statement, all you can be, I think they were getting pretty close to hitting that on the head. I would have used it had they not.
Mm. I mean, they're all so good, but like, how do you narrow it down to that one big desire? Is it because I haven't like felt the one yet? Is that why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you really have to. That's what this whole exercise is about, going out, talking to these guys, getting out there because you've got to hit it on the head for them where when they read your statement, wake up warrior, or, the successful alpha male, that they're like, yeah, that's me. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and just go with a successful alpha male. Can you get behind that for the purpose of this exercise?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I'm just going to bold these. Now, the reason that I put this into this document and not the messaging document that we're going to go to is because I really want you to dig in and do this exercise here and put down the number one item. This can change and it can change frequently. If World War III happens and it comes to mainland America, you might want to change this and say, I know that you want to be the badass sergeant or warrior or general of your army, and we're just going to pivot for the purpose of World War III. So, or even the pandemic, whatever it is, you can pivot quickly using this exercise by just taking the new items that you put on top here and refining your focused statement, which will lead into all the messaging that we go and start creating later. Okay, so external problems, go ahead and give me some of those. What have you got listed out here?
I put perception. So their perception on an event and the story they give it.
Their perception on an event.
Yeah, like something that happens in life, right? The story that they internally make it mean for themselves could be completely different from someone else.
I see. And that's what's preventing them from becoming that alpha male.
So, and essentially, external problems, are you wanting this to be obviously from their perception, something they can relate to?
Yes, definitely.
So that would make sense why perception wouldn't really, they'd be like, what? Because they're in a one track mind.
Yeah, that's how they see the world. And so if you just say, well, your perception sucks, they're like, what are you talking about? It's reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely need to do more research in this area because when we tell them, I know that you want to be an alpha male, but the problem is work issues.
Yeah, that sounds retarded. So I would say you want to be an alpha male, but the problem is.
I'm just going to run through this and diving into answering these questions for you by throwing something out there that sounds good. I don't know if it's going to resonate with your audience. You're going to need to do a lot more research in order to be able to make these statements that really resonate. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's why it's best to survey them, to go out and to talk to them and see how they define what the problem is, see how they define what their ultimate desire that they want. That's why we're reading all the reviews and reading all the comments and exploring this online, right? The problem is We know that you want to feel like an alpha male. The problem is that the world is attacking your masculinity and preventing you from being in control. So how does that make you feel? Well, let's just go with this one statement that we have. That makes you feel like you're a failure, which leads to paralyzing stress. Their fears and worries. Let's say that their fears are
They're gonna be stuck like that for a decade, lose their family, lose job, lose their self, lose their kids.
yeah, that's lose everything they've worked to build.
Mhm.
That you'll wake up in your old age and regret the life that you've lived.
Yeah.
And that's the one I like the best because it makes them think, oh, hell, I got to do something now so I don't regret this life. That's that. Kind of feel like it touches on that urgent and pressing crisis. I'm going to skip over frustrations and humility and these ones because I'm not going to use them in this next in your brand story. So I want to use authority in your brand story. What authority do you have in this space? How many people have you helped? What's a big success story? What would people look at and say, you are the leader in this space?
I mean, I've been there. I've torn myself down. I've left a 13-year job. I've hit rock bottom. I've, I mean, I'm trained in neurolinguistics programming, which actually is the communication of like the brain and how to rewire it and teach them how to unlearn things in their past. And
Okay, that's a pretty good statement right there. So you were just touching on the empathy. You have been there, you've lived it.
yep, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, though, straight up.
So give me some backstory. What did you live?
Uh, 13-year career. I used to work 70, 80 hours. I lost the girl I was with for years and years because I focused on my job. Didn't care. She left me and went and got engaged and married.
So was that a girlfriend, fiance?
Girlfriend, I have commitment issues, so never been engaged.
Okay, never. How long were you with that person?
4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Okay, was she the love of your life?
I would definitely say so. I mean, her leaving me like changed me for the better. That's for sure. I just didn't want to waste my life. I didn't want to wake up in 10 years and not work corporate ladder. I've done it all.
Okay, so I'm going to jump over here to the marketing message document. And we're going to start filling these things out here. And we're going to do so by pulling in information from the emotional workbook. I'm going to go through and show you how to compile all this information. So, men with paralyzing stress, you're going to jump over here and say, I help men with paralyzing stress. You change get, but it's the same thing. Become the alpha male they want to be without, what's the name of your program? Okay, so that's ultimately how easy it is for you to create your elevator pitch. Remember, the elevator pitch is really, they say when you're standing in an elevator and you've got 30 seconds before you hit the ground floor to give your pitch on what you do. You really don't even have that much time anymore these days. You have the ability to state one sentence, and that one sentence is either going to capture their attention and get them to continue a conversation with you about your topic, or it's going to fall flat on its face and everybody's going to walk away not knowing what you do. Memorize your elevator pitch so that you can give that one quick statement that calls them out so they know that you're talking to them. So right off the bat, you say, I help men with paralyzing stress. Immediately they're caught and hooked. Oh, that's me. Become the alpha male that they want to be. That's what I want to become. And then you're saying without having to live a life of regret. And they're thinking, oh, I get hung up with that all the time. And you say, by experiencing alpha redefinition. And then immediately they're like, what is that? That's what you want the next statement to be. What is that? Tell me more about that. That's the purpose of this elevator pitch, is really to add that little bit of curiosity in there like we talked about the naming conventions, so that it triggers them and they are saying, "Oh, tell me more about what you do," instead of them going into some pitch about what they do and trying to pitch you on their stuff. They're hooked on what it is that you do, and you can continue the conversation. That's what the elevator pitch is all about. I help men with paralyzing stress become the alpha male that they want to be without living a life of regret by experiencing alpha redefinition. This is something that you want to put, say, in your bio on your Facebook page. It should be the first statement on your website when people come to it, that it's bam, that easy. You've got seconds to catch people's attention. And so that's where you're going to use the elevator pitch. Okay, moving on. So this is the complete brand message or brand story, brand script, whatever you want to call it. It is really like the full statement, the full story that customers are experiencing and that they're going through. So it's your opportunity to take everything that you've learned from the emotional buyer's journey, plug it into a very clearly defined statement in order to resonate with these individuals and let them know that you are the solution they're looking for, that you understand them, they've found the right location. So what we do is say, at alpha redefinition, we know that you want to become the alpha male that you want to be. In order to do that, you need to step up and take control of your life. The problem is that the world is attacking your masculinity and preventing you from being in control. This makes you feel like you're a failure, which leads to paralyzing stress. Nobody wants to wake up in their old age and regret the life they've lived. Okay, doesn't that feel better? At alpha redefinition, we know that you want to become the alpha male that you want to be. In order to do that, you need to step up and take control of your life. The problem is that the world is attacking your masculinity and preventing you from being in control. This makes you feel like you're a failure, which leads to paralyzing stress. Nobody wants to wake up in their old age and regret the life that they lived. I've been in your shoes, working myself to the bone and losing the love of my life. That's why I trained in neurologistics, to help you reprogram your mind, and take back control. So when you're talking about your process, and I say start with a bribe, that would be the ultimate call to action. So for the purposes of this, I am going to say, here's my process. Start with your discovery call. You really do not want to do anything complicated with this call to action. You do not want to be telling people, start by going through my funnel, start by watching my webinar, start by doing something, jumping through hoops. It's start by jumping on a phone with me. Make this simple, 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 so that you can take it from there, because otherwise you'll get a huge drop off in the number of people that will go through the process. So number 2 in your plan that you're giving to your customers, you're going to want to specify what is alpha redefinition. And if you just simply say experience alpha redefinition, then that's insinuating that they're going to go through the process of go through your program or something of that nature. And then number 3 would be the ultimate desire that they're shooting for. So live the alpha life, right? Alpha male life, live the alpha life. State the call to action, and that is, so get started with your discovery call, mastermind program, we'll say community, to stop the failure. And the failure, remember, to stop living a life of regret and instead have the desire and instead take control of your life. So let me just read this all real quick, and you can see how it feels for you. So our alpha redefinition, we know that you want to become the alpha male that you want to be. In order to do that, you need to step up and take control of your life. The problem is that the world is attacking your masculinity and preventing you from being in control. This makes you feel like you're a failure, which leads to paralyzing stress. Nobody wants to wake up in their old age and regret the life they've lived. I've been in your shoes, working myself to the bone and losing the love of my life. That's why I trained in neurologistics, to help you reprogram your mind and take back control. Here's my process. Start with your discovery call, experience the alpha redefinition, and live the alpha life. And get started with your discovery call and join the alpha redefinition community to stop living the life of regret and instead take control of your own life. So that's something that we would use on the homepage, like I mentioned, or on your about page. I like to do this as a letter from the CEO, a letter from me, and from my desk, that sort of thing, and then write this in a letter format to really speak to them, so that they know you truly understand where they are in life and where they want to be, where they want to go. So this is kind of how I wanted to give you a little bit of a sample of how all of this messaging is going to work, where you're basically going to be plugging in the information that you've gained from the buyer's journey, and you're using it in your messaging to speak it back to the people. So the best copywriters say that copy is not created, it's assembled. And that essentially means you've gone out and found it and then put it back together into a statement that resonates with them and calls them to action. So cold call to action. At alpha redefinition, we know you want to be that alpha male. Get started, whatever, get started with a discovery call and experience the alpha community to stop living a life of regret and instead take back control, or take control. And this is something that this is, as I mentioned, is a cold call to action. So this would be used in your social profiles. It's very clear on who you are and what you do and what they need to do next in order to achieve their desire. The mission statement's a little bit different. Whatever is the most prevalent answer throughout your buyer's journey, you want to focus on. So if there is a massive, glaring problem in your industry, then you want to focus on that problem. If the desire is what really brings together the loyalty of your audience, then you want to focus on the desire. So I'll give you an example. If you were just focusing on veterans and helping them get over PTSD, then you would focus on that. That would be your mission. Ultimately, in a simple statement, helping veterans cope with PTSD, right? If you're working with entrepreneurs that want to live this billionaire lifestyle, then that's what you would call out. You wouldn't call out entrepreneurs' problem because they don't think they have problems. All that they can focus on is that billionaire lifestyle. Whereas the veterans can't see a billionaire lifestyle because they're too stuck focusing on the PTSD or whatever is holding them back. So in your mission statement, you want to choose one of these short little ad libs that call out the primary focus, the glaring obstacle in these individuals' lives that they can think of nothing else but that. You could say, one day men will be men. You could say a world without, let me see, that's a very polarizing statement, I guess you could say. Empathy so you can achieve desire. I don't think that one really applies to you. So you get the idea that these are not, the mission statements really are not something where you're going to go out and market your mission statement. Think of it this way. If your mission statement was on a big poster that sat on the wall behind you, what would it say when everybody's dealing with you? That's what's on their mind. And they see you and they think that's that statement. Okay. That's the kind of statement that you want to come out with, and really embrace it. That is you. It's not necessarily anything that will ever end up in your marketing. It's just kind of one of those loyalty statements that's bringing the collective together. Okay. So that hopefully this exercise in marketing and crafting your marketing messages helps you figure out how all this comes together and the purpose of the buyer's journey emotional workbook, so that you can come back and craft your own brand messaging and your own statements that are really going to resonate with your audience. This is just the beginning. Once we get into pillar 2, I'm going to show you some really advanced strategies and some larger ad libs per se that are really going to call upon the experience and the information that you've been able to tuck into your buyer's journey emotional workbook, so that you can really craft messaging. And you don't want to craft the same messaging every single time when you get out there in your posts on Facebook and you start warming your audiences. You want to be able to target different areas and find out exactly what prevailing knowledge is that people resonate with, or exactly what market gap that they relate to. So you want to be able to try lots of different things. That's why we're packing the Buyer's Journey Emotional Workbook with as much information that we can that we've been able to find online, because we're going to reuse that and brainstorm hundreds, if not multiple hundreds of post ideas just based off of that one Buyer's Journey workbook. So if you don't fill that workbook with lots of information, you're going to have a really hard time coming up with content and writing content in your blog posts. And the content that you come up with is going to be razor thin. Nobody's going to resonate with it. They're not going to be called to action. They're not going to feel like you understand them. So go back before we even get into pillar 2, do the necessary research, fill out your Buyer's Journey workbook to the full extent as best as you can. And before you even move on to pillar 2 or think that you're going to be able to be successful in that, submit your workbook and your offer crafting worksheet for an audit. I'll go over it and let you know if you're ready or not. And I'll also give you as much information and direction that I possibly can in order for you to be as successful as possible. Remember, we're going to be creating months of content with this workbook. So you want as much information as possible. And the purpose to creating this content is multifold. One of the reasons is that we want to attract our ideal customer. Another reason is that we want to prove our messaging. We want to know, it's like a comedian. When a comedian goes out on stage in front of 10,000 people, it's not the first time he has told those jokes. He started out in the small bars with 15 to 50 people practicing his brand new jokes. And when he gets a laugh out of joke 2, he remembers it. I got a great response out of joke 2. Joke 1 fell flat on its face. By the time he gets to that stadium, he's added up all the jokes he knows are rocking with the audience that they love, and those are the jokes that he tells. In the same way, when you're brainstorming and filling your document, again, like I said, with all those lightning bolts, with all that you're going to be able to pull from, and we're going to get out there and you're posting and practice those jokes. We're going to get out there and practice that messaging, and the messaging that gets the better resonating responses from, you're going to mark it down. I got a good response from that. That's what my people want to hear. That's what they resonate with. That's where they feel they are in life. And so you highlight those items and dig in deeper to those items and try to explore more. In a few months' time, you're going to completely and absolutely know your audience so well that when you finally do craft that automated webinar, you're going to be able to tell those jokes that rocket with your audience every single time, and you're going to get massive opt-ins, and you're going to be able to jump on those phone calls and get 80% conversion rates because you know exactly what to say that resonates with your audience. And that's why we're practicing the organic with the organic posting now. The second reason we're practicing it. So hopefully you now understand how important it is to go back to that document and completely stuff it with as many lightning bolts as you can.